Thank you, Maria. I'm all good, thank you. And thank you all for joining us and for your interest in the course. So I'm Linda Rocco, she, her. I'm a white woman with middle-length straight hair, some big teeth and round circular glasses, and I have a few books and plants in my background. So I guess I can tell you a little bit more about the course. How does that sound? And feel free as well to leave any question, as Maria was saying, in the chat, and we're going to pick them up later. So the Curating Contemporary Art and Design Theory and Practice is a short course that has been successfully delivered since 2016. It will be delivered live and online, providing an intensive deep dive into contemporary curatorial thinking and practice in art and designs. And it offers really a critical perspective from the viewpoints of experts who curate, research and write in the cultural sector, with opportunities for participants to engage with multiple diverse curatorial approaches. This can be done through in-depth discussions with curators, artists, researchers that will be invited in the course to provide an overview of different modes of curating and commissioning contemporary art across the museum, the gallery, the public realm, and the online environment. The theme of this year's course is called Curating After the Internet, New Media and Digital Culture. And it's going to really look at post-internet conditions of art production and distribution, reflecting on the role of curating in an increasingly hyper-connected landscape. We will examine how curatorial and artistic value is creating online in our attention economy, how platforms influence content curations amidst the complexity of censorship and shadow banning. We will discuss the challenges posed by algorithmic curation and AI, tokenization, as well as the impact of social media on art criticism and the financialization of cultural and creative work in the creators' economy. So it's a really kind of intensive 2 weeks. And they will span across from the 8th of July till the 19th, so Monday to Friday for 2 weeks from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So the course will be taught by some RCA tutors, as well as invited experts from all over the world. Contributors so far include Bassamel Baroni, curator, researcher, and associate professor in the Department of Art and Media at Aalto University. Katrina Sluis, curator, researcher, and head of photography and media arts at the Australian National University School of Arts and Design. Michael Connor, curator and co-director of Rhizome at the New Museum, as well as artist and internet culture researcher Joshua Citarella, with many more to be announced soon. In the session, the participants will be taught in a group. We're talking about a group of approximately 20 to 25 tops students, as well as there will be some group activities. So there will be this cohort of participants will then be divided into groups for further conversation and explorations. Each session will be structured around a lecture with Q&A and debate, and then sort of like workshop activities as well as practice-based approaches. In terms of application process, participants must be 21 years old or older. They must have an undergraduate degree, so already with a BA, a good level of English, and have submitted a successful application. So I'm gonna now put a link in the chat for their specific application. It's quite of a short form where you'll be asked your sort of main information, a CV, as well as a 200-word statement that will sort of explain the relevant professional or academic experience, as well as outlining your interest in the course.
Great, thank you very much, Linda. I'm just putting in the link to the course again. And a few more people joined us in the meantime. So as a reminder, you can also go to the website and check the course. Can you tell me a little bit more about kind of who is this course for? Kind of, who do people have to have background in curating or fine arts? Kind of who's maybe not the ideal candidate, but who can benefit from this course?
We're definitely looking for a diverse cohort, being the subject and the theme highly interdisciplinary. We're very open to diverse backgrounds. So they could be art and design graduates at large, but also early to mid-career professional from the cultural or the creative sector. Then, of course, curator and arts programmers, but then also artists, designers, writers, and researchers. So I would say creative practitioners and cultural practitioners at large as well is probably a good umbrella term. Yeah.
Thank you. So if you have any more questions, please put them in the chat or unmute yourself. You're very welcome to do that as well. I have a couple more questions. The first one is more about the dynamics of the course and the course structure. Could you tell us a little bit more about what are the different elements that make up the course? Is it just lectures? Is there any group work? Is there any final outcome that after these 2 weeks people will present or that they will be working on?
Sure. So the delivery, as I said, will be online through synchronous sessions. So we will all be live in a Zoom room in this virtual environment. And we will be using Zoom, but then also diverse digital platforms like Miro, Moodle, which is the college learning platform that it's kind of personalized to the course's requirements and will provide participants as well with a system where they can access all the course material. They could also access the sort of the sessions after for a few weeks. We will also be using Slack. So we will have different sort of platforms to deliver the sessions. And generally, they're all structured with at least one guest per day. The guest will present the work through a lecture with a specific sub-theme each day. That will be followed by Q&A and debate with the participants. And then we will get through more sort of participatory workshop sessions where we will really dig deep into the theme of each contributor and do more collaborative and group work, group discussions. And then on week 2, we will be focusing specifically on a speculative project. So from the learning of week 1 and the sort of continuous learning that will happen as well in the first part of the session in week 2, we will sort of explore a speculative project scenario where the participants will be divided into small groups with the help of courses assistant to then produce effectively a pitch for a speculative project that might be an exhibition, but might also be a public program, more of an online project, and many more. That will be sort of decided by the group, and it's also sort of like an effort and an exercise into collaborative structure, which we all know it's what all curators kind of need to do as they begin working in teams.
Great. So kind of following on that, what you just said, the course is not only for people who want to curate online, but kind of are interested in technology in a broader sense. So they might be also interested in curating art and technology in physical spaces. Right? Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say that the sort of the lens of the theme, so this idea of curating after the internet really looks at what happened to curatorial thinking and practice after the advent of the internet and how that sort of influence curating IRL, so curating in the gallery, in the museum, and how that can then expand into curating online. What does that mean? What does that entail? What type of questions and challenges and considerations curating online raises as opposed to the more IRL formats? So it's definitely quite of a encompassing set of considerations that will be discussed through the course. So it's more as well, it can suit both the sort of more traditional understanding of curating and then hopefully expand the understanding through sort of a learning and undoing to develop new ways of thinking about curating.
Great, thank you. And I think the last question that I have is also is quite practical. Does the RCA provide with any course certificate or diploma? Is there any sort of, paperwork of diploma that people get at the end of this course?
I would say there's definitely a series of benefits for the participants. First and foremost, this idea of really exploring a range of fine art and design disciplines in this highly international context. The cohort of participants is usually very varied, with people attending from all over the world, which is really exciting and really brings a diversity of perspective that really moves the debate and places it in a really international context. They will also have access to really world-renowned curators, critics, researchers, historians, and writers that will be invited to contribute to each session. Obviously, the benefit of learning in a highly collaborative and dynamic environment and atmosphere through really interdisciplinary approaches. As well, the opportunity to interact and network with international peers. And then finally, there will be a certificate of online attendance that will be released from the RCA.
Great, thank you so much. I think I don't have any more questions about the course. Is there anyone else who would like to ask something about studying at the RCA? Right. In that case, I think we don't have any more questions. So in that case, thank you very much, Linda, for joining us today and telling us a bit more about curating after the internet. It does sound like a really fascinating course where people can learn and broaden their horizons on the topic. I'll pop in the link to the course, just one more if you want to have a look, because I think people who are joining late, they might not be able to see earlier messages in the chat. So yeah, thank you very much for everyone for attending. Thank you to Linda for joining us.